Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson has voiced strong concerns that the Supreme Court's recent string of decisions favoring the Donald Trump administration sends a troubling message. She warned that these rulings suggest the court is deviating from its established legal standards when dealing with the current government. In early June, the Supreme Court sided with the Trump administration in 2 separate cases, overturning lower court rulings that aimed to impede government policies. Newsy.com reported that the court's conservative majority lifted a federal judge's order that had blocked the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, from accessing sensitive data within the Social Security Administration's systems. Simultaneously, in an emergency ruling, the Supreme Court reversed another lower court order that would have forced DOGE to hand over internal documents as part of a Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, lawsuit. Justice Jackson, in her dissent, wrote that it is particularly startling to think that grants of relief in these circumstances might be, unintentionally, conveying not only preferential treatment for the government but also a willingness to undercut both our lower court colleagues' well-reasoned interim judgments and the well-established constraints of law that they are in the process of enforcing. She further criticized that the government seems to be able to obtain relief from the court with nothing more than the annoyance of compliance with lower court orders they don't like, while other applicants must meet a higher bar. The Social Security case revolved around whether DOGE could legally access highly sensitive information within the Social Security Administration's systems, including Social Security numbers, medical records, and bank data. U.S. District Judge Ellen Hollander had previously ruled that DOGE employees could only access redacted or anonymized data after specific training. However, the Supreme Court, without providing an explanation for its reasoning, lifted Judge Hollander's order. Solicitor General D. John Sauer had argued that Judge Hollander's initial ruling undermined DOGE's objective to combat waste and fraud and modernize the government. In the FOIA lawsuit, the Supreme Court also reversed U.S. District Judge Christopher Cooper's order that required DOGE to release internal documents and its acting administrator, Amy Gleason, for deposition. Joined by Justice Sotomayor in her dissent, Justice Jackson stated that the Trump administration failed to meet the court's high threshold for emergency relief, criticizing her colleagues for jettisoning careful judicial decision-making. She concluded that the court was unfortunately suggesting that what would be an extraordinary request for everyone else is nothing more than an ordinary day on the docket for this administration. Justice Jackson had raised similar concerns earlier, on May 30, when the Supreme Court ruled that the Trump administration could revoke the temporary legal status of hundreds of thousands of Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Venezuelans living in the United States. At that time, she wrote that the conservative majority undervalued the devastating consequences of allowing the government to precipitously upend the lives and livelihoods of nearly 500,000 non-citizens while their legal claims are pending.